An idea of some tools that you could use to work with your own lives and your own feelings, really. So I'd like to start with a question. How many of you here feel that you are in touch with your emotions? Okay, so quite a few of you. You may be surprised to hear that actually most people, even women, only skim the surface when they interpret their emotions. So some people might say, I'm just tired, or I'm just a bit grumpy. And you might find other people who say, I need a bit more fun in my life, or I'm not that keen on my job. And then you find others, very few, who actually say, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to leave my job, or I'm going to actually inject my life with some more fun. And what I'd like to do this evening is to give you some tools to really get past that surface skimming and to get really deep down to the root causes of why you feel the way you do in certain situations. And the first thing I'd like to start with is really interpreting your physiology, because I think that's key to how we feel. It's that whole chicken and egg relationship. Which comes first? Is it my physiology or my emotions? So I'd like you all just to take a moment to really slump your bodies. Move your shoulders down, curve your spine, maybe stand on one leg, and look at the floor. How does that feel? Take a moment just to really feel that. See how you feel while you do that. And when you're ready, just start to lift up your head and open your chest, so bring your shoulders back, straighten your spine, and maybe even bring in your lower back, the small of your back slightly. And then when you're like that, just look up maybe as high as you want, maybe up to the ceiling. And I'd like to ask you all, how does that feel different? You can answer now actually. How does that feel different?
I feel lighter.
Feel lighter?
Yeah.
There you go. Isn't it interesting? So what we tend to do is we perpetuate how we're feeling. So, oh my God, I have to speak at this event. Oh my goodness. Oh, everyone's going to hate it. Oh. And that's what happens. Sometimes we have a little internal dialogue, and that affects our physiology. So the good thing to do is really just to empower yourself by lifting a little bit. Another great way of doing this is really interpreting your emotions by doing something called a personal inventory. And this is why I gave you all paper. Has everyone got paper and a pen? So while you grab that, I'll just explain this to you. So all negative emotions are actually fear. Believe it or not, we might feel resentment, we might feel guilt, we might feel anger, but it all has its roots in fear. And fear has no power in itself whatsoever, no power at all. It's only by ignoring our emotions that we empower them. So I think a lot of people might, for instance, ignore their tax return. I know I did that for many years. And it got worse and worse. And it became this big pent-up fear of emotion. Oh no, I haven't done my tax return. And when I confronted it head on and got together some systems, I actually realised that it was fine. Quite simple and actually quite fun to be in control, quite empowering. So by confronting my emotions, I actually released all the negativity. And this is what we're going to do now. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And I want you just to write down the first thing that comes to you. The first thing that comes to you is likely to be the most accurate. So however silly it sounds, write it down. And just let it free flow. Any words that come to mind, just write them down. And then we can analyse them with the next questions. What I want you to do is think about a situation which makes you feel fearful. So it can be any situation that makes you feel fearful. And write down every word that comes to mind. How does this situation make you feel? Lots of writing going on. Okay, let's work with what you've got, because the first ones are always the most important. And the next question I've got is, what does this mean? So if my first answer was, feel grumpy, my second one might be, I'm tired. Okay, so what does this mean? And my last question, you can carry on writing if you need to. Is this a problem? And if it is a problem, what can I do to change this? Finally, do you have any limiting beliefs related to this solution? Are there any limiting beliefs there? Doesn't matter if there aren't. A limiting belief is any belief that conflicts with your desired outcome. So, if I want to be a professional speaker, but I don't think I'm good enough, that not thinking I'm good enough might hold me back from actually realizing this success that I'm looking for. So do you have any limiting beliefs related to this solution that you've just come up with? And once you've got a limiting belief, I'm going to ask you to do something with it. So I'll just wait a moment. So we're going to bust this limiting belief. And the way I'd like you to do this is to take it, whatever it may be, and put it into the positive. Now, if my limiting belief was, I'm not good enough to be a successful public speaker, I probably wouldn't want to say, I am good enough. I might want to say, I could become better, I could improve. So put that into the positive, something that feels realistic for you and manageable, not something that you'd scoff at, so something that seems plausible for you. And notice how that feels. Notice how you feel. Reflect upon what you've just written. And if it doesn't quite ring true, you can either change it ever so slightly, so it does, or you can write it down again and again. And then again this evening, and again tomorrow morning. And keep doing that until you change the way you feel. So keep doing that. Keep writing down this new, more positive belief. So it's a good idea to ensure that it seems manageable to you and it seems to work.